Peace, y'all. Welcome back to another edition of Space Invaders TV. I'm your host, Rashawn, aka Looker. Today we're gonna talk about inflation, and we're gonna get in and we're gonna get down and talk about how America is just eating itself alive at this moment, and greed being in the cause and the root of it all. All right. Right now, this country is in shambles. Okay. We have two parties, two government parties arguing back and forth. Okay, they're divided. As a country, we're divided. Looking and wanting to go in opposite directions. Okay, and it's clear, it's obvious, and it's always been. Okay, and we're just not on the same page. And what this pandemic has done has pulled back the curtain to a lot of things right now, to all the problems of not just this country, of this world, the problems. Okay, and you have to identify and be real with that today to understand that we are dealing with, people that this country is divided down the middle. You can't be a team and be divided. No team wins divided. You will not win divided. No company, if you're divided, you will not win. You will not succeed. If you don't communicate and understand, have communication, listening, understanding, having morals, ethics. Like if you don't have these things, if you're not truly there to do what you needed to do, you can't win. You can't win. And what is happening right now, and what I'm seeing around this country is that you have the greed, it's fighting with the universe right now, and you can't win. That greed's not going to win. You're fighting with the universe. It's time for it. It's time to change. It's time to change the mindset. How we pitching goods to people, how we're selling goods to people. It has to change. It's been a play on fear throughout this pandemic. It's been a play on, like I said, on the goods. In a time like this, people are strapped for cash. You ask yourself, why is this high? Why are we sucking the blood out of people right now? At this time, who said that the pandemic was over? First of all, period. All right. It's time for this country to be truthful and honest with itself about everything that is going on right now. It's time for this country to be truthful and honest. It's like, all right, it's time to take off the suit and the tie. It's time to get in some comfortable gear, and it's time to sit down and talk to the people and meet them where they stand at, and look them in the eye, and being real honest about where we at and where we're going. What is the end freaking goal? Because for so long, you hear this jargon thrown around, having multiple streams of income. We're trying to get it. We're trying to get rich. Trying to get paid. We're trying to get. Everybody's trying to get. But who are you getting it from? You're pitching your ideas to the working class folks, because the ones who already have it, they holding on to it. Okay, and they trying to hold on to it, obviously. So you're trying to pitch to folks that are working class folks. But right now, the working class folks are hurting. Who the hell is trying to help them? You know what I'm saying? It's like you watching a ship sink. The ship is sinking, And people are not even thinking about the exit route and trying to jump ship, trying to like, okay, we got to get out of here. This ship is sinking. We got to get to a safe ground. We got to get to dry land. No, they still on the ship. Still keep trying to sell you stuff. You like, dude, this ship is sinking, bro. We got to go. We ain't got time for that. We got to get off of this ship right here. We got to get to dry land, and we got to figure. Listen. We need to be figuring out our next move to better ourselves, because we can't build another ship like this. We can't get on we ain't getting on another ship like this. You know what I'm saying? We got to get on something better, but we got to get off of this to get to dry land, and so we can figure out some other things. Nah, they still on the ship, still trying to sell you goods, still trying to sell you high price stuff. And you like, hey man, do you see that this ship is sinking right now? We really gonna still do this? So we really gonna sit up here and keep marketing these high priced goods? I'm sorry, but we're in a pandemic right now. Still, people are strapped for cash. People are trying to figure it out. And I think a lot of people have gotten a lot wiser in the last 2 years. I want to believe that a lot more people took heed to what has happened in the last 2 years, and I think some people probably going to be spending their money a little different these days. Okay, if they were a little reckless before, they probably tightened up. I believe a lot of folks have tightened up. You know, everyone's not ignorant and stupid. Okay, so I'm going to believe that, and I like to believe that a lot of people have tightened up on their mental in these last 2 years, because some people have been party and trying to have multiple streams of income. But who you've been selling to has been us everyday people. We hurting right now. So if you're not trying to sell us something that's at a reasonable price and that's really worth something, then we ain't trying to look at what you selling, man. You know what I'm saying? That we ain't trying to look at what you selling. So what I'm saying is the things and the goods that were being going before, people was out here just spending. It's not happening. First of all, let's just be clear here. Before the pandemic, there was a high unemployment rate. Do anybody remember that? There was a high unemployment rate before the pandemic, dude. Okay? So when the pandemic hit, that just added on to it. That just made the folks who were already in unemployment, that had them on unemployment even longer. Okay? People were already dealing with not getting paid what they should have been getting paid. Okay? So then the pandemic hit. Why is there inflation when we have so many options? When we purchasing goods, we have different types of car dealerships, corporate car dealerships, mom and pop car dealerships, buy here, pay here car dealerships. You got grocery chains. You got so many different types of grocery stores. You can go to what they call them, little pantries. You know what I'm saying? That help their community out and giving out food to the people in need. You got so many auto parts stores, different types of chains. You can even go to junkyard and get parts for your car. If you, excuse me, folks, you can go to an auto parts store, chains, and you could go to a junkyard, and depending on the year, make of your car, and get the parts for your car. You could go online and buy parts for your car at cheaper, lower prices. I mean, so many different ways and so many different markets that you could get goods. You know, that goods are thrown at you and marketed to you. Restaurants, we got so many different types of burger joints all over this country. We got so many types of chicken joints that just sell chicken all over this country. We got so many joints that Italian, American, Greek food, West Indian food, African food, Haitian food, everything you can name. We have so many different types to offer. You ask yourself today, why is there inflation? When we have multiple ways to get what we need, different ways, places. You got, everyone loves Walmart. You got Walmart selling you all of these things under one roof. which was a play 30 years ago. They played off of that, like to try to get all the money out of one household. You know, oh, let's have the McDonald's in there because if you got your kid with you, your kid gonna want some nuggets, and mom's gonna buy that. You can get your nails done in there. If you want your nails done, you get your nails done. So yeah, you want to get your nails and your feet done. Yeah, we got a bank in here. But you notice when a pandemic, and most of them, a lot of them now, they don't have the McDonald's in them. There's no more nail salon in them. You know, that's gone. You know, but you remember when they first opened up, they didn't even have groceries. You know what I'm saying? But greed. So now we have these mega stores now. The mega. So they want you to come in there and get everything. So it's just greed, like greed. And it's all of life is balance. We got to balance ourselves out. People say, oh, don't eat so much sugar. You know, you need to eat the gluten-free. You need to da-da-da. But it's all about balance because you need sugar in your body. You need salt. It's just a matter of how much of it. You got to balance it out. You can't just be just going wild with it and now your sugar intake is up here. You know what I mean? So you have to balance. Life is balance. Life is all about balance. But for so long, it's been the greed has just had people in a tunnel vision. We gotta have multiple of everything. We gotta have big boxes of cereal. We gotta have the best, biggest car that they make. You gotta be the first one to have everything. Newsflash, you can't be the first one to have everything. It's too many people, okay? You can't be the first one to have everything, man. You just can't be. Like everybody wants to be the first one to have this. I want to be the most to have this. Like I was the first one with this. No, you're not the first one to have it. But, you know, there's 329.5 million people in the U.S. And you want to be the first one to have everything. It's impossible, man. You want to be the one to get everybody's money. It's impossible, man. But when you get it, and if you do get half of the population's money, what are you going to do for the other half that can't get it? Are you going to help that other half? No. It's greed. So we wondering with all of these different industries and companies and things of that nature that we can get multiple goods. We can get these goods from multiple outlets within each of these different industries. Why do we have inflation? If you trying to gain the whole country, why do we have inflation? If you are a business and you trying to get all of the business, why do we have inflation, man? And then we think about, hey, listen, a lot of these, so when we even think about the restaurant the industry, you know, when we think about the big chains, you know, big chains, when we think about them, you know, we like, hey, you've been here for so many years. You talk about you made the most burgers out of this one over here, and the most chicken sandwiches sold over here. So you wonder and you say like, so why do we have inflation? Why is it costing so much just to get a hamburger when we could just go down the street? What are you putting on this burger that I can't even put on it in my house? You know, you ask yourself, the same thing you put on this burger and this fast food, I could put that on in my house. So why am I paying you $10 for this burger and an order of fries and a sandwich again? When I could just get a package of ground beef for, you know, even if it's inflated, I can get a package of ground beef and make me more than one burger. Let's just we gotta think here, okay? And what has happened is, man, this country has been moving, never taking time to sit still, and things have just been going over a lot of folks' heads. Seriously. And even during this pandemic, you know, people are still trying to move about this pandemic like it's not a pandemic. Like somebody cut off the light and said like the pandemic's over. Okay, everybody could go home now. It's over. Who said that? Nobody said that this thing was over. We still got to move and do what we got to do, but people are still moving around reckless. Okay, things are still being thrown at us as if there's not a pandemic. People are still trying to sell you on things at crazy prices, even in the pandemic. And if you follow me for a while, you know that back in 2020, when I said you're going to see during this pandemic, you're going to see just who is there to service the people. And that meant on all sectors. Government wise, to the businesses in your community, to all levels, you're gonna see like who's really there to like cushion the fall of the people during this time, because people been, like I've said, these companies been eating for years off of the people. These companies been around in certain industries for years, pride themselves on it. They've been in the game for 60, 70 years. They've been getting money. So then when the pandemic come, where you hear them, do you hear them offering anything to the communities that they set in? How are they helping? How are they helping within this inflation? I want to talk about even the housing market right now. I was talking to a family member, right, and they were talking about how, even with Section 8, what they're doing, and you got landlords and things doing things, and within that, because the housing market is also jacked up too around the country. You got places where their median household may have been $48,000 a year median household income. They're selling homes for $300,000 now, and you're trying to figure out like, how are you doing that? How make that make sense? How are we getting that done? So what they're doing, they're tearing up the market, the housing market, where it's going to go right back to 2008, right back to when they had that crisis, right back to when they had that crisis and had a lot of homes sitting on the market, and people were getting loans for homes that couldn't never even afford it. And that's what's going on today. They're messing the market up today. Greed. As I said at the beginning, America is eating itself alive because of greed. Greed is the root of it. So you have that going on in the rental market. You got renters charging his astronomical numbers for rent, and you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, this certain said community, the rent may have been, the highest may have been $750 a month. You're asking for $1,200 a month now? And then you're not even offering nothing? You don't have a stove or refrigerator in the apartment? Newsflash, if you're going to raise up some things, you need to offer a little more too. But greed will have you doing that, won't it? A greedy mother effer would do something like that. A greedy, heartless mother effer would do something like that, because in their small minion mind, they're thinking, oh, people need to, they're going to pay it. Somebody going to pay it. No, scumbag. You're charging that in the area that and then you're not offering anything. Newsflash, if I'm a renter and I walk in, you better have not a hole in the wall, not a scratch on the wall. All your doors better be on the hinges. You better not have nothing broken. Your plumbing better be working. You better have a stove and a refrigerator in there. If you're gonna have prices up like that, and then especially if you're in a community that's been a struggling community and you're raising a rent, you're definitely a scumbag. And you better have everything up to date. You better not have not a lick of wind better be coming through the cracks of a window, seal at all. You everything, your HVAC system, you better be working. You better not have any problems. You better be 100%. You better not have, if you got hardwood floors, you better have them shellacked. They better be shining. I better be able to smell it for my money. And all consumers need to think that way. Don't allow these folks to let you. Don't allow your desperation to override how these folks supposed to be treating you when buying any goods. We cannot forget that you work hard for your money. You cannot let these folks, these greedy mongers, come and just be greedy and thinking it's a business transaction, is a deal. I signed this contract to be a renter. You are to offer this. It's not for me just to give you this money and you just a roof here. No, you are to also take care of that tenant. You need to have some morals and ethics, and that's what's going on. A lot of people don't have no morals and ethics with them. They don't have it. Okay, so then you got the same thing happening when you want to purchase a home. People out here selling a home, knowing freaking well that their home has not and never been worth it. You go to the county and look at what the value of that home is, and then you look at the value. Go to whatever your county in, you look up the value of what that home may be, and then you look at what they're selling it for, and you got to think about, make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. So if they saying that your home is worth $120,000, you're turning around and you're selling it for $220,000, but you ain't done no upgrades to it. You walk into the home to purchase it, you see that it's unleveled. You walk around and you find yourself feel like you may be walking down the hill inside of the house because the house is so uneven, but they're asking for astronomical amount of money. They need major upgrades. Not to add, the house may be 70 years old. So these are some of the things that are going on around this country. We cannot let these folks, do not let your desperation override how someone's supposed to treat you. Remember that whatever it is a business transaction. And these folks have to respect that, because they would not. The same person trying to sell you a home for astronomical numbers, they won't turn around. They wouldn't buy that home for that. Because actually when they bought that home, they bought it for a lot less. Some people even got it, inherited the home, and out here still and never did any upgrades. But we have an industry where we have realtors out here, and all they doing is jacking up. They messing it up for themselves. Because what do you think if you in the median where the household median, even if you're in an area where the median may be $62,000 a year, but you still have homes for $400,000 in that same area, who's buying them? Because see, someone's smart. Business, when you're doing business, somebody's smart. They're not gonna really, the smart business person is not gonna do that to themselves. They're not, because you thinking about that home, but we gotta think about the other utilities and bills and other things that you need to live. Okay, maintenance on your vehicles. You know what I mean? Different things. Your own personal maintenance on your body. You know what you may be going through, have health issues. You got doctor's bills and things of that nature, or you know what I'm saying? Somebody, a business-minded person, is gonna think. So a lot of what's going to happen, because the market is going to crash, okay? News flash to all you realtors and anybody, your home, you people that are out here trying to sell your home for these crazy numbers, it's going to crash. So think about it for a minute, because the longer your home sit on the market, right, the less it's going to be. So if you was asking for $400,000 right now, right, and you think it's sitting now for 30 days, you've been sitting, just imagine what your house was originally going for, it's going to go for less than that. Believe that. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. If your realtor didn't tell you, or the real estate agents, they didn't tell you. Newsflash, I'm here to tell you. Hey, you can just look it up yourself. And for renters, for homeowners who are renting out their homes, if your taxes hasn't gone up in your city or county or anything, why are you going up on your rent? Why you have your rent high, I should say. If your property taxes haven't gone up in this time, why are you going up, or have your rent, I should say, high? Why are you out here doing people who are getting assistance from the government? However, what we feel about Section 8 or anything like that, however folks received it. Do you understand a lot of things that are going on, and that's been going on for the last 20 years? There's a lot of housing projects around the country have been getting knocked down, and because of the city wanting to take over the land and build up, or maybe some developer came in and wanted to build something different there. What they do is, for the tenants that haven't posed any problems or anything in those said housing complexes, do you know that a lot of people were receiving Section 8 that were living in those, like, quote unquote projects or whatever, and the city or whatever, or county were giving out Section 8 vouchers to those tenants that never posed any issue, problem, or nothing. They gave them they didn't just kick them out. They said, hey, you got this date to move out. We'll give you a Section 8 voucher. Move where you want to. So a lot of people receive those Section 8 vouchers off of that, okay? So a lot of people look down on that, and however folks get them. Some people get Section 8 vouchers for all different types of reasons. Some folks get Section 8 vouchers maybe because they have a very sickly child and they can't really work. So they receive those vouchers. You know what I'm saying? It's so many different ways that folks get them, you know. But those are some of the more, you know, some of the ways that folks get them, okay? Contrary to your beliefs, okay? So, you have folks out here with Section 8 nowadays, and I spoke to one of my relatives, you know, and they're telling me how that's going, and I chose to speak on that too today about, you know, you're a scumbag if someone has Section 8 and then you're charging them astronomical numbers. You're charging them $400 for an application fee. You're charging them not the standard month and a month and a half. You're charging them a full month rent, you know, and you're charging all these other fees, and then the apartments that you're renting not offering anything. You don't have anything. You don't have the basic, though, a refrigerator or a stove in there, but you wanting for the average. You might have was charging $625 a month, but now during this pandemic you have went up to a whole $1,200 or $1,400 a month, okay? But you don't have those amenities. You can't do the same thing you was doing when you was doing $625. When it's $625 a month, you say, yeah, I want $1,250. You know, that's a month. That's the month, and then the month and a half, I want that. You know, I want $25 application fee. You know, and yeah, we don't have a stove and refrigerator in here. You have to get your own. We don't offer that. Okay, that was a little, you know. Okay, yeah. But now you wanting $1,300 a month for that same apartment, and you don't offer, you don't bring in those things. Help make it make sense. So you just think that you can sell anything to people today. This is the greed, and this is what I'm saying, that this country is eating itself alive. America is eating itself alive. I make it make sense. I can't understand. I think, and a lot of things, I think, when they gave out those last stimulus checks, that's when I seen the cost of goods really gone up, okay? And I think for some reason, I think the pea brains of some folks, I think they think because people was getting that money, that people was steady sitting on a lot of that money. When some of the people, and I'm talking for the responsible folks that have families, when a lot of people that was getting that money, they really needed it, and it still didn't even help them, but they put it to what they can put it to. Okay, I think that some of these folks believe that it was so much money out here that they can charge these astronomical prices, and that, you know, we don't understand why the price of gas was up, because even when the Colonial Pipeline, if you're on the East Coast, we use the Colonial Pipeline. Even when the Colonial Pipeline busted, we didn't even tap into our reserves still, and I'm wondering, like, well, why was the prices up? You know what I'm saying? So even when it was a time on the East Coast when the gas prices went up to $5 a gallon for us, the greed, man, sucking the folks dry. And then they had it at one point, remember, you know, it was on the East Coast or something, it was like $5 a gallon, $6, some places You had some states talking about, yeah, if we find anyone price gouging. What the that you don't do that was highway robbery. You talking about anyone that was price gouging, we're gonna but so it was $5 and $6 a gallon was okay, huh? Come on, man, make it make sense. Make it make sense. When I started off driving, man, I think it was probably a 109 a gallon, 80 cents a gallon. I'm probably showing my age. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Make it make sense. You know, make it make sense today. Greed, man. Greed. Everyone wants more, more, more. They suck the people dry. You know, we got inflation. We say, wow, we have so many different ways to get all the things we need. We have multiple gas stations, different companies. You name it. Some states have brands that aren't even offered in other states of gas stops that aren't even offered in other states. There are some gas stops that are only in certain regions. Okay, so it's like, come on, man. But you have the national chains, the Texacos, the Exxons, the what's the other one? I'm missing some, but you know, what's that? Speedway, Texaco. I probably said them already, but you know what I'm saying. Then you have these other off brands, you know, companies that probably are only spin-offs of like Exxons and Texacos and the Shells. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have all these different ways to get the things that we need. Why do we have inflation when we can get it from so many different places? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I am confused. I am baffled. Like, you know, and we sitting here and we have a government that we have a president that's trying to sit down and talk with the rest of the government to find out why is it what the fuck what so you acknowledging that it was you acknowledging that is you guys that it got this thing like this, when I really believe too also when I felt as though when they gave out those stimulus checks that they felt like, okay, we got to get that back because the government never gives you nothing for free. Okay, we pay to live in this country, i.e., your taxes. All right, and they take money from you and then tell you what you're gonna get back after 12 months. Okay, and you can get a little more back because of other tax breaks and other different things. Taxes, yeah, that's what that is. So they never gave the working class nothing for free. Okay, so the working class got something for free. Yeah, we had a way. They had to find a way to pay it back, and a lot of that. And I'm in the transportation business or industry, so a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, those containers out on the sea." Newsflash: this country consumes a lot of goods. Okay, a lot of goods. So it was things already on the dock that people couldn't get. They were on the docks that companies couldn't get because during the pandemic, you had some people get sick on these docks and things. But meanwhile, you had Florida telling, like saying to the docks on Long Beach and to the country, like, hey, look, send the goods this way. We have room. We can get it off. We have workers here. Send the goods this way. You know, we can help with getting those goods off. Could have saved some business. Could have saved some small businesses too, because a lot of small businesses shut down especially if they only specialize in selling one type of good. Like say they might only sold bicycles or something of that nature. They might have to shut down because they had bicycles that maybe they were getting from overseas and they couldn't get it. You know, they couldn't get it in time, and not to mention they were already hurting. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, so a lot of businesses had to shut down due to not being able to get some of their goods fast enough because they didn't specialize in multiple. They just sold one, specialized in selling one thing, you know. So yeah, and I go off and I say that because just to elaborate more, just like the county I'm in Guilford County, North Carolina. Okay, so this county is being paid lower is below the state average. Okay, the salaries are below the state average, and I don't want to go too long here, so I want to break down. I'm gonna read this article. Rock with me for a minute. I'm gonna read this article here, and this is from the local publication out of Guilford County called the Rhino Times. Okay, and it says growth trends show Guilford salaries lower than state average. The annual growth and development trend reports from the Greensboro Plan Department indicates that while the area is growing in several key categories, it isn't keeping up with its neighbors. In fact, wages in Guilford County remain below the national average and the state average, according to the Trends Report. In 2020, the national average yearly salary increased by 8.1% to $64,000, while the state's average yearly salary increased 7.3% to $56,200. Okay, so the national average salary increased 8.1% to $64,000. Okay, this state average increased 7.3% to $56,000. Okay, $200. In Guilford County, the average yearly salary increased by 6.3% to $52,900, according to the report. Durham County led the most populous counties in the state with an increase of 11.5% to $79,700. Wow. Wake County saw an increase of 5.9% to $65,000. Even Forsyth County, right next door, had a higher wages than Guilford with an increase of 6.2% to $55,500. So I'm gonna break this down real quick for all of you that may be watching it, right? If you're not in North Carolina, you won't know these counties. So when they say Wake County, the biggest city in Wake County is Raleigh. Guilford County, the biggest city in Guilford County is Greensboro. Forsyth County, the biggest city within Forsyth County is Winston-Salem. Okay, Durham County, Durham is the biggest city within that. Okay, so their wages, you seen, these places, increase. They also had increases in the population of the four largest cities in North Carolina, which are Greensboro, Raleigh, Winston-Salem, and Charlotte. Okay, the four largest cities. Okay, population growth between 2010 and 2022. In that decade, Greensboro had a growth of 10.9% from 269,600 people to 299,000 people. Charlotte grew at 19.6% from 731,400 people to 874,500 people. Raleigh grew at a rate of 15.8% from 403,800 people to 476,000 people, and to 476,600 people. I'm sorry, folks. Durham, which is still number 4 on the list of the most populous cities in North Carolina, grew more than twice as fast as Greensboro at a rate of 24.2%, from 228,300 people to 283,500 people. Winston-Salem grew 8.7%, from 229,600 people to 249,500 people. The Trends Report also indicates that development in Greensboro may be slower despite an increase in the value of construction permits. The Greensboro Technical Review Committee reviews subdivisions and the site plans to ensure compliance with state and local regulations before approving a development. In both 2019 and 2020, the Technical Review Committee reviewed 606 site plans and subdivisions. In 2021, the number of site plans and subdivisions reviewed by the Technical Review Committee dropped to 489. Okay, so I say that to say this, and I want y'all, whatever county, state you live in, whatever state you live in outside North Carolina, because I just gave y'all the breakdown if you reside in North Carolina like I do. But if you reside outside North Carolina, I challenge you to go look at your city, your counties, and your city, and see who's being paid more and less. meaning all people who work in those counties, not like the county workers and state workers and those. I'm talking about all people who work in these counties. Your whole county is the salary that everyone, where you stand on a national level. I challenge you to look yours up too, because, and then let's look at the housing market, and let's try to understand that. Let's look at because I want people to compare that your salaries in your states and your counties to and then look at the price of goods. How has it inflated and the impact that has on you? And you know what I mean? Because this is a thing that we have to see, and this is where we get back and step back and get to see the greed. Okay? Because my thing is, okay, if Guilford County, where I reside, you the lowest paid, you lower than the state average. Okay? So if we lower than the state average, how are we having houses here that's $500,000 homes? How are we having people trying to sell homes that were like $80,000 for almost $250,000? How are we even doing this? When the average home median, the salary is $52,900. Okay, how are we doing that? How are we doing that? We got to make it make sense. Why are we having groceries so high when you have all these different industries, all these different grocery chains? They all have their own trucks. A lot of them have their own farms where they can produce their eggs and chickens and things of that nature. Like, why are we having these things so high? Okay, the same thing with I ain't gonna go back down that, but the same thing about these auto parts. They have the auto parts chains. They have their own trucks and all of these things. They produce these items and things, or they getting these goods from other companies, and they just sell them under, why are these goods so high? If you feel the need to squeeze the people because you're being squeezed, then I say, how long do you think you're going to be able to keep squeezing? At some point when you squeeze an orange, right, there's no more juice going to come out. It just dries up. So you can't continue to get juice from a dry orange. It goes dry. How long do you think you're going to be able to do that to the people? How long do you think that the people will continue to do business with you if they feel like you're going to be draining them? They're going to continue to go on to the other competitors. There's many competitors. So it's like, why do we have inflation with so many competitors in each industry? There's many competitors. So I say that to say, everyone, just look around. America is eating itself alive, and greed is the cause of it. Greed is the root of all evil. If we got a lot of people talking about multiple streams of income, that's fine. That's great. But when you speak that, understand that right now, if you speaking that, you're talking to the working class folks, and many of those folks have been hurting for the last 2 years. The working class has been hurting for the last 2 years. So when you talk about having multiple streams of income, you're all trying to sell to the same folks. We are the people, the working class are the ones that carry this country on its back. It's a fact. Ones who have money do business with each other. So therefore, they don't have to spend much money. They do business with each other. If I over here sell Ferrari, I know the man who owns the manufacturing company that manufactures and makes the Ferraris, and if I know my man who makes the Teslas, I can get a Tesla from him for the low. I know him. I produce Nabisco, everything out of Nabisco. So I know, boom, I know my man that makes Tesla. I get me a Tesla for the low for where he's selling you. I'm gonna get it for cheap. I might walk away for $10,000 for that joint because I'm his man. We hang out together. The rich gonna spend with each other, baby. Okay? They gonna spend with each other. They gonna look out for each other. Okay? Okay? They send stuff to each other for free. They get stuff from each other for free. It's my boy. I'm gonna give it to him because then he's gonna promote it for me. Yeah. We, the ones that work for the working class, work for what we want. We keep these people afloat. The pandemic told the truth on that. Come on now. If the working class can't eat, nobody can eat. You gotta remember that, and we can't let these folks play on our hardship. We got to remember, and everything is a deal. When we signing on to work for these companies, we don't just work for you. Don't just work for the company. You there to do a job. I signed a contract, okay, to do a job. The contract, you pay me whatever the said wage was. I do a job. We need each other, okay. It's all fact. That's why now a lot of the companies that were lagging behind, that didn't get proactive and do it in states and businesses weren't proactive and didn't jump ahead of the bullet years ago, like everyone else, like most did, and raise the wages. Now, after the pandemic, during the pandemic, they see like they lost employees and they can't get none. Now they're paying what they were paying $12 an hour. Now they're $18. Come on, we're gonna. Now they want. But yeah, you're paying that. But how much are you still respecting your employees? A lot of these employees don't understand that. Employers don't understand that. A lot of you guys don't understand. A lot of these employers don't understand that they made a bad name for themselves, and the word gets out. The way you may treat your employees, the way you may treat their employees, the word could get out. So people are just not coming. Not only that, during the pandemic, people were able to elevate their minds and start thinking, and they said, "Hey, I'm not going back there. I'm going to start my own thing. Or I'm going to go to a company that really respects its employees, and understand that this is a two-way street, you know." So that's a lot of things that's going on, and it's going to be a lot more companies that's going to get shut down. This thing is not over by far. A lot more companies are going to shut down. You got to have communication. You got to know how to treat your people. You got to have some ethics and morals about it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, a lot of businesses need to restructure the way that they do business on all levels. See, people are not learning how to move with the time. So, like, people understand. People are so used to things happening, and then they keep going down that same path. Well, there's been a world. The world has been impacted by this corona, this pandemic. So the way business is being done has to be rerouted. You can't keep doing business the same way nowadays. A lot has changed. So, we've seen many things take place. We've seen the country go through this crisis with the housing market in 2008. We've seen what happened in 9/11. That changed the way that we moved about in this country, security-wise of this country. We've seen a lot of things. Then the pandemic come. We've seen a lot of things that really shaped and changed this country. You can't keep fighting. And now the people want to fight. You have these greedy mongers that want to fight the universe, the universal, where the universe is going. You can't fight the universe, man. It's going to happen. So the best thing now is to reformat the way you're doing business. You're a company, the way you do business, you need to reformat it. The way you handle the employees, you need to look over that again. The people you have overseeing your business, you need to really sit down and check them out, because more people now, the frivolous spending by most is not gonna see it like you used to no more. Nah, you're not gonna see it, and definitely not the kids coming up today. Nah, not these millennials. Nah, they not spending money like that. They're gonna be a little more the word I'm looking for, I can't get it right now, but they're gonna be more They're gonna hold on to their money a little more. They're gonna want a little more bang for their buck. They're not gonna shop the way that you know the X generation was shopping. They're not gonna shop. They're not gonna be out here. You see a lot of places are shutting down malls, and malls are becoming more. So now they had a more outside theme where they calling it outlets. That's the more theme now when you're thinking about shopping. Eventually, it's all gonna go to an online thing. It's all gonna go to boutique type thing. I believe that in the very near future, it's all gonna turn to boutique shopping. Those those companies that are able to stand the time, and they're going to be the ones that turn to a more boutique. uh when I believe, when you order it, the only way you're going to be able to really go in those stores, they're not going to have many pieces. They're going to have very limited pieces in their stores, and mainly you're going to be able to shop online and maybe get your item delivered to that store and pick it up, but it's not going to be much shopping. I believe that in the next 20 years, that's how it's going to look, because everything's got to go through. The malls are becoming, you're seeing lesser stores, and they're going more to this outlet type feel in different states. And most states been doing that for years, but you have more of them popping up in different states now, and that's becoming a new trend. And eventually it's going to move from that to, like I said, to those outside uh, outlets. They're going to shrink and become smaller, and the only thing that you're going to see on that level is what's actually necessary. I mean, not necessary, but what who you're going to see the businesses that actually were able to hang in and stand the test of time, and they're going to be more of the boutique type stores. Um, Even when we talk about groceries and food and things of that nature, um, we're gonna have to get real with ourselves and get to the point where we got some grocery chains that just sell. They pride themselves on having organics. We're gonna have to come to the realization that everything is organic. It's supposed to be, and that's what it needs to be. And if you're not selling that, you're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to come to the realization of that. And we have to, because we got so much here and there. But then it's like, what do we really need out of all of this noise? The government told us, if you had never heard that phrase before, I know I had never have it, essential. So we have to dig out what's essential out of all of these other industries. What's the essential one out of all of them? Which one of them that we really need? Because we got so much, and let's focus on that. Greed is what causes to have all this multiple, but now they tell us, oh, it's inflation. But we have multiple of all of it. Abundance. Hey, we even have the internet where we don't even have to shop in the States. We can go and get it overseas. It's the inflation, though. Think about that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. I'm your guy, Rashawn, aka Looker. This is Space Invader TV. It is January. Oh, I'm sorry. It is February the 3rd, 2022, Thursday. Peace be with all you. Thanks to all the subscribers. Continue to share. Continue to like. Continue to comment. And let me know your feelings and thoughts on this inflation topic as well. I just wanted to come and talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, on a level that you'll speak with your family and friends at the table, your co-workers and things of that nature. I didn't want to speak with, and I would never come talk with the political jargon. I wanted to talk how we would talk. This channel is about speaking on issues that affect us locally, nationally, and globally, and this inflation is something that's affecting on a global level. Some countries, it's been going, inflation has been there forever. So all it's known was high price goods, you know, because it's so hard for them to get goods. It's a supply and demand type thing. So it will cause the goods to be high. But we think about, we have multiple, like I said, multiple chains in said industries. Why are our goods inflated at this time? Just something to think about. Just common thoughts. Just thoughts that's something that you will have with your family and friends in the conversation. That's all. But once again, like I said, America is eating itself alive at this time, and greed being the root cause. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my time. Your guy Rashawn, aka Looker. This is Space Invaders TV. I thank y'all for your time. Until next time, y'all be safe.